This week we find a 5-star boondocking spot, visit one of the oldest continuously inhabited communities in North America, learn a little bit about the famous frontiersman Kit Carson, and enjoy the Spanish Colonial architecture found here. We're leaving Santa Fe, one of the most beautiful cities in America, and heading to Taos, rounding out our visit to the 3 most popular towns in New Mexico. And we're finishing the last of our series of traveling New Mexico. We're enjoying the great views as we drive, and even on the highway, the artistry of New Mexico shines through. If you're on Highway 64, keep an eye out for the Earthship Biotecture Community. It's a self-sustaining off-grid neighborhood made of homes built from recycled materials like tires, cans, and bottles, designed to function completely independent of public utilities. The community doubles as a research and development site. Tours are available, and you can even rent an Earthship overnight to experience it firsthand. We're on our way to our next boondocking spot. Ever since we first drove into New Mexico and drove down the Rio Grande River Gorge, the Hubs has been a little obsessed. This time we're camping on the edge of the gorge near the Dunn Bridge. Plenty of room and killer views, but before we can enjoy it, we need to clean up this mess. I don't think I'll forget to lock the refrigerator anytime soon. Oh well, the floor needs a good scrubbing anyway. Another upside, 1 egg did survive. We'll put the coordinates of our site in the description. With our campsite overlooking the steep switchbacks and the picturesque Dunn Bridge, the Hubs has not only picked a great spot, his superpower, you know, but he's managed to throw a little off-roading into our adventure. But unlike the drive we took down into the gorge in our first New Mexico video, the drive into Taos from here is definitely a no-go if you're pulling anything. There's one switchback so sharp, even our truck needed to back up once to make it. Our first stop is at Taos Pueblo. Some things have changed a lot since we've been here last. Primarily, the Pueblo began services to coordinate the many visitors who want to come here. Taos Pueblo is a sovereign indigenous community governed by the Taos Pueblo Tribal Council, which appoints leaders annually. While families maintain individual rooms, the adobe structures are collectively owned and managed by the community. So why do people come here? It's one of the oldest continuous lived-in communities in the entire United States. People have been living here for 1,000 years. Yep, you heard me right, 1,000. The air smells of history. These beautiful tan buildings are made of adobe, a mix of mud, water, and straw. It's kind of like nature's cement. And get this, families still live in these homes without electricity or running water, just like their ancestors did. The community is home to the Tiwa, who speak their own native language and follow their traditions to this day. You might see artists making handmade jewelry, pottery, or even baking bread in the outdoor ovens called hornos. Taos Pueblo is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a National Historic Landmark. The word Pueblo doesn't just refer to the buildings, it's about people, cultures, and a story that's still being told today. The chapel was built in 1850 after the original 17th century church was destroyed during the Pueblo Revolt of 1680. It's an active religious site, so no photos are allowed inside. There are several businesses here offering food, drink, and art. Then we drove into the town of Taos to check out the historic core of the area. Taos Plaza is the town's original Spanish-era courtyard, established in 1796 under a Spanish land grant, once surrounded by fortress-style adobe homes with sentries at its gates. Today it's an open square providing a central spot for locals and visitors to gather. The monuments and signs give a nod to the past here. The shops display a mix of nostalgic souvenir shops and native art galleries and boutiques. Make sure you explore the offshoots of the Central Plaza. Sometimes these can be the most interesting. Always wanting to know a little more about an area's history, we chose to see the house of the famous frontiersman named Kit Carson. Christopher, or better known as Kit, was a famous and complex figure in the American West. He began his life as a fur trapper, hunter, and guide. During the Mexican-American War, Carson served as a courier covering thousands of miles delivering messages. Later, as a U.S. Army officer and federal Indian agent, he was instrumental in Native American policies, leaving behind a legacy that's both heroic and controversial. In 1843, he settled in Taos and married a girl from a prominent local family and raised several children in the house we're about to see. You enter the single-story U-shaped adobe structure through a central courtyard, typical of territorial-style homes in New Mexico. The house was established as a museum in the 1930s. In 1963, the house was designated as a National Historic Landmark by the U.S. National Park Service. Visiting gives you a glimpse into a prominent Taos family during the mid-1800s, as well as reflect on the legacy of Kit Carson, his exploration, military service, and impact on Native and Hispanic communities. Towns like these are all about meandering through tree-lined walkways and courtyard gardens with fountains and interesting shops and cafes. So we're heading over to the John Dunn house shops. John Dunn was an iconic stagecoach driver, bridge builder, saloon keeper, and gambler. This pedestrian mall is the site of his home and was built in the 1920s. In the 70s, Harvey Mudd converted the home into a community space that would support local merchants. Today, there are 18 to 20 locally owned shops that sell anything from Southwest fashion to handcrafted folk art. After finding a good shout-out location in Santa Fe, we were hoping to find another meal we could dream about for years. But Mexican food has a nasty tendency to taste the same. It may be good, but it doesn't have the wow factor. If you told me we'd be exploring so many cemeteries on our travels, I would have told you you're nuts. This cemetery, however, is a state park. The cemetery originally established in 1847 to bury soldiers and civilians killed during Taos Rebellion, later expanded to become the American Cemetery, and finally renamed Kit Carson Cemetery in 1869. It contains veterans from the Mexican-American War, the U.S. Indian campaigns of the 1850s, and the Civil War and Spanish-American War, both world wars, along with early Taos families, traders, and settlers. Of course, Kit Carson and his wife are buried here as well. It's now part of a regional park in Taos and managed by the city. We have one more stunning church to see, the San Francisco de Assi Mission Church, located in Ranchos de Taos. Replacing an earlier fort church, construction began around 1772, and it was completed by 1815. It served both spiritual and defensive purposes amid Comanche raids. It's built with traditional adobe bricks made of mud, earth, and straw. The church features a sculptural beehive adobe buttress, twin towers, and crowned by 3 white crosses. To preserve the exteriors, locals mud plaster every year, applying fresh adobe. That's a little bit of maintenance, but it's so beautiful. The church is still an active Roman Catholic parish. Driving back through the gorge to our campsite, we reflected on our time in New Mexico. This was an unusual trip for us for 2 reasons. First, we brought no toys, no bikes, no side-by-side, no kayaks. And 2, it was short. Not the months that we had been used to. We were able to find some good boondocking though, giving us some peace at the end of a long day of exploring. We not only hit the 3 most popular towns in New Mexico, we also explored smaller little towns that were very unique, and some would consider hidden gems. We were surprised by wildlife, always a highlight of our trip, and wowed by an amazing gorge you don't hear much about. I got my fill of unique, stunning architecture, beautiful New Mexico art, and fascinating history. Indigenous, Hispanic, and Anglo influences all coexist here, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes in tension. It's evident in the remnants of the past as well as what you witness in the present. It's good to hit some cities sometimes, but I'll look forward to exploring more of God's beautiful creation in future trips. The weather had been good to us and we hadn't had any RV mishaps until today. There's a storm blowing in, so we're going to hit the road and try to miss most of it. That is, after we fix our problem. Hey, thanks for coming along. If you need more information on any of the things that we visit, check out the link to our blog in the description. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. We'd love to hear from you.
I got fired as an inspector at the banana factory. I kept throwing away the bent ones.